Today we are going to perform experiment via virtual lab platform, and the aim of this experiment number 1 is to draw the VI characteristics of PN junction diode. Basically, we are going to perform the experiment via virtual lab, and this virtual lab project started as an initiative from the Ministry of Human Resource and Development MHRD to create the online interactive media which would help students learn difficult concepts in the various domains. And as a part of this initiative, a virtual laboratory for the basic electronics has been developed, and the objective of this lab is to perform experiments in the basic electronics lab virtually and yet have close to the real life experience. The platform is focused on learning aspects as much as on performing the experiments. And the key features of virtual lab are it is available 24/7, so students can learn difficult concepts at their own pace. Real looking components to give the user a feel of real laboratory, and the step-by-step wizard to guide the students through the experiment. I would like to thank the team of IIT Kharagpur for providing the virtual lab, and we are able to demonstrate experiment to our students easily via this interactive platform. The aim of first experiment, that is to plot the VI characteristics of PN junction diode and calculate its dynamic resistance. The objectives of this experiment are, at the end of experiment, the student should be able to explain the structure of a PN junction diode, then the function of PN junction diode, then explain the forward and the reverse bias characteristics of silicon diode as well as germanium diode. So before going for the demonstration of experiment, I would like to give you certain idea about the PN junction diode. So basically we are aware that there are three type of materials. One is the insulator, second is the semiconductor, and the third is metal. And the difference between these three materials are in terms of their energy gap. In the case of insulator, there is the very large energy gap that is greater than 5 electron volt, and the example of insulator are glass, rubber and cotton. And if we take the case of semiconductor, they have the moderate energy gap, and the most commonly used semiconductor materials are germanium, silicon and the gallium arsenide, where the energy gap in the case of germanium is 0.67 electron volt. In the case of silicon, the energy gap is 1.12 electron volt, and in the case of gallium arsenide, the energy gap is 1.43 electron volt. And if we take the case of metal, there is no energy gap, and the example of metal are aluminium, silver, copper. So we can see here the energy band diagram of conductor, semiconductor and the insulator. In the case of conductor, the conduction band and valence band, they overlap each other and therefore there is no energy gap. And in the case of semiconductor, there is the moderate energy gap, that is near about 1 electron volt. And in the case of insulator, the energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band, that is very large, that is equal to or greater than the 5 electron volt. So in the case of all the electronic devices, we use the semiconductor material, and usually we use the silicon or germanium. Now the question is, why silicon is preferred over germanium? There are many reasons, like silicon is easily found in abundance and much cheaper as compared to germanium. Silicon has large band gap, therefore it has high temperature withstanding capability, and in the case of silicon the leakage current is less as compared to germanium. And we have two types of semiconductor material. If we take the pure silicon or germanium, that is considered as intrinsic semiconductor, but to enhance the conductivity, we deliberately add the impurities to the pure semiconductor, and we can add the two type of impurities. One is the trivalent impurity and the another is the pentavalent impurity. Trivalent impurity leads to the p-type extrinsic semiconductor and the pentavalent impurity leads to the n-type extrinsic semiconductor. So here we have shown the n-type extrinsic semiconductor where the pure silicon that is doped with the phosphorus atom, and in the case of p-type extrinsic semiconductor, the pure silicon that is doped with the boron type of impurity. So in the case of n-type extrinsic semiconductor, excess of electrons are there, and in the case of p-type extrinsic semiconductor, the deficiency of electron is there, so that is represented as hole. So as in this experiment number 1, we are going to draw the VI characteristics of PN junction diode. So how PN junction diode is formed? If the donor impurities, that is N type, are introduced into one side and the acceptor impurity, that is P type, that is introduced into the other side of single crystal of semiconductor, then a PN junction diode is formed. And this is the symbolic notation of PN junction diode, that is triangle followed by vertical line, where the triangle side, this side is identified as p-type extrinsic semiconductor, that is represented as anode, and the vertical line, that is specifying the n-type extrinsic semiconductor, identified as cathode. And it is the property of PN junction diode that it passes the current from P to N. This is called as the unidirectional conducting property of diode. Now this is the structure of PN junction diode, and in this structure we can see that the different charge carriers are shown here, like these are called as the negative or acceptor ions. This is the representation of hole and this is the representation of electron. And in the N side we can see here the positive or the donor ions are there, the electrons are there, and the holes are there. So in the p-type extrinsic semiconductor, the majority charge carriers are holes and the minority charge carriers are electrons, whereas in the case of n-type extrinsic semiconductor, the majority charge carriers are electrons and the minority charge carriers are holes. Now to understand the working of PN junction diode, we are going to consider the three cases. The first case we consider is no bias. No bias means open circuited PN junction. When the two terminals, they are not connected to any potential, this is considered to be the open circuit PN junction diode, that is called as the no bias condition of PN junction diode. Biasing means adding the external potential in the circuit. So in the case of no bias, there is no external potential added to the circuit. So in the case of no biasing, we know that the diffusion process starts automatically, and diffusion process leads to formation of depletion layer at the junction, and because of that an electric field is established at the junction and a potential difference is there at the PN junction, that is called as the cut-in voltage or knee voltage or the barrier voltage in the PN junction diode. So this cut-in voltage or knee voltage or barrier voltage, that is material dependent. In the case of silicon, the knee voltage is 0.7 volt, and in the case of germanium, usually this is 0.3 volt. So how we define knee voltage? It is the minimum amount of voltage required to break the potential barrier at the junction. So we understand at this point that in the case of no biasing, there is the depletion layer acting as barrier at the junction. And let's say we apply the biasing in the circuit. So we can apply two type of biasing arrangement. One is the forward bias and the another is the reverse bias. So when an external DC potential is added in the circuit such that P type of extrinsic semiconductor material is getting positive supply and the N type extrinsic semiconductor is getting the negative supply. That means supply positive terminal is connected to P type extrinsic semiconductor and the negative terminal of battery or the DC potential that is connected to N type of extrinsic semiconductor. And this is the variable DC supply we have taken. So we keep on increasing the value of this DC supply, and we can see that the barrier or depletion layer at the junction where the electric field is established, here the potential is minus and here the potential is plus. And if we see the this external applied field and we compare it with the electric field established at the junction, so these two are opposite, because here it is plus and here it is minus, and here it is plus and here it is minus. That means we are applying the external potential in opposite direction to the electric field that is there at the junction. So if we apply the potential in the opposite direction, so the potential barrier gets breakdown when we apply the voltage here that is greater than the junction barrier potential voltage, that is the cut-in voltage. So if we take the case of silicon, that means ideally we say like if that is a silicon case, so 0.7 volt, ideally we suppose that there is no depletion layer at the junction, but practically if we see for the silicon material, the cut-in voltage is 0.7 volt. So if we apply the voltage here greater than 0.7 volt, then this barrier gets break down, and after that the significant amount of current starts to flow. And before this cut-in voltage, there is no current that is flowing through the junction because of this depletion layer existing at the junction. So this is the case of forward biased PN junction diode. And if we see the reverse biased PN junction diode, here we are connecting the negative terminal of the battery with the p-type extrinsic semiconductor and the positive terminal of the battery with the n-type extrinsic semiconductor, and the external potential is applied in the same direction of barrier potential. So in this way the width of potential barrier that gets increased, or we can say the width of depletion layer that is enhanced. So as width of depletion layer gets enhanced, and it is opposing the flow of charge carriers and therefore the flow of current. So that means in the case of reverse biasing, there is no current that is due to majority charge carriers, but still small amount of current is there that is due to only minority charge carriers. And as minority charge carriers are limited, so current due to them that is also limited. And the minority charge carriers are thermally generated charge carriers. So at a particular room temperature, the minority charge carriers are constant, so current due to them is also constant. So we can say that the current due to minority charge carriers is limited as well as constant. That current is called as the reverse saturation current. These are the VI characteristics of PN junction diode. In the first quadrant, we can see the graph between the forward bias voltage and the forward current. And in the third quadrant, the graph is in between the reverse bias voltage and the reverse current. So in the forward bias PN junction diode, we have discussed that below the knee voltage or cut-in voltage, the current is almost negligible because the depletion layer is existing at the junction. And once the barrier gets break down, that means if we apply the voltage greater than knee voltage, the significant amount of current starts to flow through the junction. And if we see the case of reverse bias PN junction diode, there is no current due to majority charge carriers, but very small current is there, and that is almost constant, that is due to minority charge carriers, and this current is called as the reverse saturation current. And if we increase the reverse bias voltage at some point of very high reverse bias voltage, junction breakdown takes place. And there are two types of breakdown. One is called as the Zener breakdown and the another is the avalanche breakdown. And very important observation here, that is the forward current lies in the range milliamperes, whereas the reverse current lies in the range microamperes. These are the ideal diode characteristics, and this is the diode current equation, that is I is equal to I naught into e raised to power v divided by eta Vt minus 1, where I is the diode current, V is the diode voltage, I naught is the reverse saturation current, eta is constant, 1 for germanium and 2 for silicon, Vt is the volt equivalent of temperature, that is equal to kT divided by Q, where K is the Boltzmann constant with the value 1.38 into 10 raised to power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. T is the room temperature, that is usually we take it 27 degrees Celsius, so that we have the round off value as 300 Kelvin. And the Q is the electronic charge, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulombs. So to perform this experiment, the apparatus we are going to use, that is the PN junction diode. And if we perform this experiment physically in the lab, then this is a list of apparatus we are going to use. That is 1N4007 is the PN junction diode. Then we need the regulated DC power supply. This is variable supply in the range 0 to 30 volt. We are going to use one resistor of 1 kilo ohm. Then we need ammeter and the voltmeter. Ammeter, that is of two type we are going to use, that is milliammeter for forward biased PN junction diode and the microammeter for the reverse biased PN junction diode. Then we need the breadboard for making all the connections and the connecting wires. And this is the circuit diagram that we need to implement on breadboard or with the help of virtual lab. Uh, we are going to perform this experiment. So we need the variable DC power supply here. This is the resistor and this is the PN junction diode 1N4007, and here the milliammeter is connected in series and the voltmeter is connected parallel to the PN junction diode. So we connect here voltmeter so that voltage across PN junction diode can be noted, and the milliammeter that is connected in series so that the current flowing through the diode can be noted. So this is the circuit diagram, and according to this circuit diagram we need to make connections for the forward biased PN junction diode. The p-type material is connected to positive of supply and the n-type material is connected to negative of supply, so that this PN junction diode gets forward biased. And the steps to perform experiment via this virtual lab environment that is developed by a team at IIT Kharagpur. So first of all we need to visit the website. This is the website. Then after visiting website, there is the list of experiment, that is a tab is there on this website, that is the list of experiment. So we click on this list of experiment tab. Then after that the list of experiments that will appear on the screen, and as we are going to perform the experiment, that is VI characteristics of diode, so we need to select this experiment from the list of experiment. Then there are various tabs corresponding to this experiment. The one is the theory, so we need to go through the theory of experiment, and I have already demonstrated the theory here also. Then after that we are going to read the procedure of experiment. The complete steps are displayed here. Then after that we need to go to the simulation tab, and in the simulation tab the various options are there. So we are going to choose the first part of simulation, that is forward biased silicon diode. Then after selecting the simulation, this window will appear for the forward biased PN junction diode. Then there is instruction tab here. So when we click on this instruction tab, there is the list of steps, that is the guided instruction, and if we follow all the steps as per the instructions provided, so we can go for the simulation. And after simulation we need to plot the VI characteristics of forward biased silicon diode, and finally we are calculating its dynamic resistance, and these are the expected characteristics that we need to plot as the forward biased PN junction diode. So this is the procedure displayed on the website. First of all we need to set the DC voltage, then we need to select the diode, then we are going to set the resistor value, then we need to understand the connections are already there, like voltmeter is connected in parallel and the ammeter is connected in series, and the p type is connected to positive of supply and the n type is connected to negative of supply. So we keep on varying the value of this DC voltage and keep on noting down the value of the voltage across the diode via this voltmeter and the current through the diode via this milliammeter. Then after that we are going to plot the VI characteristics and then we calculate the dynamic resistance of the diode. Then after that it is identified that the forward bias voltage one that is exceeded around 0.6 volt for silicon, then after that significant amount of current starts to flow. So let's see how we are going to perform this experiment via virtual lab environment. The aim of this experiment is to draw the VI characteristics of forward biased PN junction diode, and we are doing the experiment via virtual lab. It is developed by team at IIT Kharagpur. Thanks to the people at IIT Kharagpur who did this virtual lab, and with the help of this setup in the form of a virtual lab, we can draw the VI characteristics of PN junction diode under the forward biasing condition and calculate its dynamic resistance. So what are the steps that need to be followed here? Like, first of all, we need to understand this circuit diagram. In this circuit diagram, see PN junction diode, and as we are plotting the VI characteristics of PN junction diode under forward biasing, that means the P type material of this PN junction diode should be connected to positive potential of the battery, and the N type material of PN junction diode that need to be connected to negative potential of the battery so that it gets forward biased. And in the series we have connected current limiting resistor, and here we have employed 1 milliammeter that is connected in series with the diode and voltmeter that is connected parallel to the diode. So as we need to draw the VI characteristics, that is the plot between the voltage and the current, so we will note down the voltage across the diode and the current flowing through the diode via the voltmeter and ammeter, and uh, we keep on varying this DC applied voltage and keep on noting down the value of voltage across the diode and the current through the diode via this voltmeter and ammeter, and make an experimental table where we have all the forward voltages and the forward current readings, and with the help of this experimental table we can plot the VI characteristics of forward biased PN junction diode. So what are the steps that? First of all, we set the DC voltage to 0.2 volt. So we put the value of this DC voltage at 0.2 volt. So we can see here as we are varying the DC voltage here. So here the DC voltage is set at 0.2 volt. Now we need to select the diode. There are the various options we can choose to perform this experiment, and for our experiment we choose the diode that is 1N4007. We can also choose any of the other diode present in the series, and as per the data sheet we can come to know about all the characteristics of PN junction diode. So this is the PN junction diode we have taken here, that is 1N4007. Then after that we set the value of this resistor connected in series. So with the help of this we vary the value of resistance and we put it at 1000 ohms, that is 1 kilo ohm. Then after that, now we vary the value of this applied DC voltage with the help of this knob and keep on noting down the value of voltage that is measured parallel across the diode and the current that is flowing through the diode with the help of this voltmeter and ammeter, and we will put all the values in this experimental table. So how we are going to add the values in the experimental table? We will vary the value of this DC voltage, let's say 0.3 volt, we add it to the table. So we can see that at 0.3 volt, the voltage here is 0 and the current is also 0. Then we again vary to this 0.4 volt. So as value is again 0, so we keep on increasing this value. Let's say we put it at 0.6 volt, then again the value is going to remain 0. And if we increase the value further, so we can add it to the table because the forward current rises after the 0.5 volt, as the cut-in voltage of this diode is 0.6 volts. So this is the ideal value of cut-in voltage, and practically it lies in the range between 0.5 and the 0.6. So we can see here the current starts to increase at this voltage. Then after that we can increase it further and add it to the table and keep on noting down all the values of the forward bias voltage and the forward current like this. So I am changing the value of applied DC voltage, and based on that there is the change in the forward voltage and the forward current, and we will add it to the experimental table. So on the left side in the table you can observe all the readings that is changing as per the change in the applied DC voltage. So we will take some readings here. By changing the value of DC voltage, the forward voltage and the forward current that is added to the experimental table, and maximum we go up to 5 volt. So we can see here now the maximum applied DC voltage is here 5 volt, and in this experimental table all the values are recorded, that is the voltage, forward voltage across the diode and the current flowing through the diode. Then after recording all the readings of forward voltage and the forward current in the experimental table, we will go to this tab that is plot, and we will plot the forward bias VI characteristics, and we can see here this is the forward bias voltage and this is the forward current, and the characteristics are coming like this. So here below the knee voltage, this is the knee voltage, we can observe here below the knee voltage current is very small, and after the knee voltage there is a sharp rise in the current level. So we have plotted the VI characteristics of forward biased PN junction diode. Now our aim is to calculate the dynamic resistance of the PN junction diode, and for that purpose what we will do is we will take the slope here in the characteristic curve, and we will take the 2 points of the currents and 2 points of the voltages. The two, let's say we take this point of current and we take this point of current, so difference of these two currents will provide us the value delta I, and corresponding to the two current chosen we can take the two forward voltages, so that will provide us delta V. So dynamic resistance, that is the reciprocal of slope of the VI characteristics of PN junction diode. So in this way, we can calculate the dynamic resistance of PN junction diode. Then after that, we can go for the connections also, like what are the connections we have done, that is the connection exposure that can be done by this tab, that is the forward bias silicon diode row circuit tab. So if we go to this tab, then here we can go for all the connections, so that physically when we are present in the lab, so on the breadboard we can make all these connections. So what are the connections here? Here the various nodes are given, so we have to join these nodes to understand the various connection. Like this is the DC supply that is available in the lab. So from that DC supply, we have the two terminals. One is the positive terminal and the another is the negative terminal. So positive terminal of the supply, that is connected to the resistor here, and the resistor we are choosing as 1 kilo ohm resistor. So how we are making the connection? Like first connection is from node 1 to node 3. So we will take the connection from here and join it to node 3. So this is the first connection. Then after that, the next connection is this resistor is connected to milliammeter that is connected in series. So milliammeter, how this is connected with this resistor, that is in between 4 and 7 we need to make connection. So we will make the connection from point 4 to point 7 like this. Then after that, we have next connection, that is the milliammeter one terminal we have connected to this resistor, and the milliammeter another terminal we need to connect to the diode, so that this milliammeter gets connected in series with the diode. So next connection is between 8 and 10, so that we are making here between 8 and 10. Then after that, we need to connect this voltmeter that is parallel to this diode. So how we are doing this connection? The next connection is in between the 5 and 10, because voltmeter is having two terminals. So one terminal is connected at the P side and the another terminal is connected at N side, so that voltmeter becomes parallel to this diode. So next connection is in between 5 and 10, that we are connecting like this, and the next connection is in between the 6 and 11. So in this way, this voltmeter will be parallel to this PN junction diode. Then after that, the DC supply positive terminal we have connected to this resistor. Resistor is connected to one terminal of milliammeter. The second terminal of milliammeter is connected to PN junction diode positive terminal P type, that is anode terminal, and the voltmeter one terminal is connected also at this point, that is at P type material of PN junction diode, and the another terminal of this voltmeter is connected to the N type material of PN junction diode. Now what about the negative terminal of the battery? The negative terminal of DC power supply or battery, we can say, as this is the variable DC power supply, so we have to take DC power supply only, because with the help of DC power supply we can keep on varying this voltage. This is a variable DC power supply, and this is the negative terminal of battery. So next connection is made in between the nodes 9 and 11, that is connected like this, and the negative terminal of the variable DC power supply that need to be connected to ground also. So next connection is in between 9 and 12. So all these connections are complete, and after making all the connections, we can go for the check connection from this tab. If we go for the check connection and the message displayed here is right connection, that means all the connections we have done successfully, and after that we can repeat all the steps that we have discussed. Like we can set the value of DC voltage at 0.2 volt in the beginning. The diode we can select here, that is 1N4007, and the resistor value we can set here, that is 1 kilo ohm, that is 1000 ohm. So after all the initial settings, we keep on varying the value of this DC voltage here, and based on the change in the applied DC voltage, we keep on noting down the value of this forward voltage that is measured via this voltmeter and the current flowing through the diode via this milliammeter, and we will put all the readings in this experimental table, and based on all the readings we will plot the VI characteristics of forward biased PN junction diode. So already we have completed this experiment and we have seen the forward bias VI characteristics are coming like this. So this is all about the VI characteristics of PN junction diode under the condition. So we have seen that how we can perform the experiment, that is to plot the VI characteristics of forward biased silicon diode and calculate its dynamic resistance. And similarly we can perform the experiment for the reverse biased PN junction diode by just reversing the PN junction diode. Now the N-type material of PN junction diode is connected to positive terminal of the DC supply, and the P-type material that is connected to the negative terminal of the supply, and here the microammeter that is connected in series and the voltmeter that is connected in parallel, and here the variable supply that is put in the range 0 to 30 volt. So as per the given procedure, if we perform the experiment via this virtual lab, so we are going to plot the VI characteristics of reverse biased silicon diode, and similarly if we change the diode from 1N4007 to 1N34A or any other germanium diode, then we can plot the VI characteristics of forward biased germanium diode by the same procedure. And the next we have the reverse biased germanium diode. So as per the given procedure we can plot the VI characteristics of reverse biased germanium diode, and these are the references we have used to demonstrate the experiment number 1. Thank you.